Welcome back to Jason Unleashed. How's it going? Good to see you. Jason Carter here. Thank you so much for watching. Really excited for today's show because I have an incredible woman who's coming on. Hope everyone's well. Hope you guys are good. I know a lot's going on in the world still, so you guys stay safe, stay active, stay mobile, keep protesting, keep doing the good work. We see you. I see you. Today, amazing woman, Francesca Amiker. Boom! Three-time Emmy Award-winning journalist out of Atlanta at Atlanta's 11 Alive, and she is just awesome. The way she covers the news, the way she is so informed, the way she is so just present in what's going on in the world in regards to people of color, marginalized groups of people, and just everything that is important that needs to be talked about, that needs to be brought to the forefront. She is doing it. She's going to be here in just a few. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. Guys, head over to her Instagram at Fran TV Host and get into what she has going on, updating you daily with the reporting on Justice for Breonna Taylor, with the reporting on George Floyd, just everything. She is covering it. So let's bring her in. Hi, she just said hi in the chat. Boom, I got you. Here, Fran, I'm coming to get you right now. I'm coming to get you right now. Boom. Here we go. Gotta do the dance. Francesca. Boom, boom, boom. Hey!
How are you, Jason?
Good. Can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, I can see and hear you and everything. It's so good to finally somewhat meet you, right?
I know. It's like we know each other, but now we're like digitally knowing each other in real time. It's crazy.
It's crazy, the power of social media, right?
Yes, I'm calling this a COVID miracle, Francesca, because we are here doing it. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm decent. I'll be completely honest when I answer that. That's kind of that's how I feel right now. Just that's like the sound.
I know.
So going on right now, especially with the death of George Floyd. But right now, we've consumed that information. We have to make change on it, and now it's time for us to listen. Last we got born, and now it's time for us. So that's kind of where I am right now. It's like,
I feel you. You're coming in and out. Is the connection okay?
Oh, goodness gracious. Is my still cutting in and out, or should I?
No, you're fine. You're good.
Okay.
I got you.
I can get off Wi-Fi or something.
No, look, Wi-Fi is sabotage. If you send you up, you don't know what mood the Wi-Fi is going to be on a day-to-day basis. But I feel you on that. As far as being okay, and just every day, it's like flexing this muscle of how do you cope, how do you internalize, how do you survive reality in 2020. Now more than ever, it seems in the last 2 weeks, you wake up and you just can't believe the things that are happening. You can't believe what you're seeing in the news, and that's just on a small level. Being a person of color, having racism so blatantly in your face on a day-to-day basis now, it's traumatizing. And people laugh when I say that. They're like, trauma, really? So dramatic. But trauma is real. And this is traumatizing for a lot of people.
And if we just go specifically to that video, all 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and really if you want to round up, it's all 10 minutes and 3 seconds.
Right.
That's the length of the video. I watched that video 4 different times, Jason, and I went from shock the first time to traumatized the second time. Then I started breaking it down and trying to analyze as best as I could to see where did things go wrong.
Yep.
Step in. So at this point, yes, it's traumatizing right now. Jason, don't you feel a sense of relief where now the entire world is talking about the pain that African Americans or color have for you? It's almost like about time. Every single time I look at the news, I switch to NBC, Fox News. I get this sense of you should have been that decade, or I get this sense of policy should have been there years, but about time.
Right. No, I mean, it's that. It's very that, and it's also a little relief, yes, but also it's like you feel now. I don't want to say a sense of comfort because that's so weird, but like hope, right? Because as you said, for years and years, these things have been happening. They just haven't been televised, right? Or when they've been spoken about, turned a blind eye. Angry black woman, angry black man. You're made to feel like this isn't a reality, and so you start second guessing yourself and thinking, well, am I interpreting this wrong? Am I hypersensitive to this? Which you have every right to be hypersensitive to what's happening, because this is how we move through the world. We have been conditioned to just roll with the punches, accept it, that this is our reality. Your job is to survive that reality, right? And so now you have the world stage is taking notice. You're thinking, okay, well, someone will finally hear our cries. Thank you for that. Thank you. But you're also fearful for, okay, the next step. This can't be a moment. This has to be a continuous movement. And I think that's what I'm hopeful. That's what the future holds for us, really.
Absolutely. I was looking at Netflix today when I turned it on just to kind of see what was going on. I like to just to see what's going on. And when I saw that they came out with the Black documents and or documentaries, the movies, the documentaries, the shows, how they blatantly said this is not a moment,
Right.
this is a movement, and it's something that keeps steam. Us as Black people, we have to continue to shake the table and make things uncomfortable in our own situations. So now I hope that I feel like the death of George Floyd has truly allowed us to be more brave to talk about our situations in the workplace, talk about our situations when it comes to housing departments, opportunities. We are now more vocal, and people are now more willing to listen. And if they're not, true colors are also coming out. You heard about this with CrossFit.
Yeah, I mean, look, how fitting has it been that everyone's at home, everyone's aware, everyone's watching, everyone has all eyes on what we're doing now, cell phones, social media, and just the reckoning that is happening daily. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I don't, look, you don't wish bad upon anyone. But my mom always says, that's the screwing you did. You screwing you get for the screwing you did. And when you get called out and get held accountable, hey, what you do in the dark is bound to come to the light. And a lot of things are having a light shown on them very brightly. So it's just the universe, God, the divine one, whoever people believe in. I feel like this is it's just so perfect how this is just at a time where we're all watching, where we have the time to really pay attention, and we have the time to really sit in and think about what's been wrong, what's been transpiring, and make change. So there's silver linings. There's little silver linings here and there.
There's definitely a silver lining. How ironic and how crazy that at the one time there's a pandemic in the world where everyone's sitting still, that the world is forced to look at this issue and policies just come out of the woodworks. This is the week of policies. I mean, this moment where George lost his life has not been to Switzerland, to France, they're now planning. So cold. We now have 11 cities and 3 states right here in America that instantly banned the chokehold. There are some common sense police reforms that are now happening. First time, I'm watching my briefing right now, the first time we may just get an executive order from President.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, continue. The earphone, my sabotage earphones, man. Continue, but you're right. There's so much is happening. Continue.
Yeah, there's so many reforms. I mean, and then here's the thing, Jason. There's so much happening at the exact same time. So we, as everybody, not just people of color, not just Black people, not just white people, we have to be on top of it, and we have to understand that at the same time that Ahmaud Arbery, or at the same time George Floyd is having his first memorial, Ahmaud Arbery, the people who allegedly killed him, they're having their first probable cause hearing. They're receiving their bailout. At the same time, Kamala Harris and Senator Cory Booker are on the Senate floor, and they're lobbying for an anti-lynching bill. This was literally happening within 3 hours of each other on Friday. Yesterday, George Floyd's final resting place when it was his funeral. That next day, which is today, him and attorney Benjamin Crump, they're down at Capitol Hill speaking in front of the House Judiciary Committee, lobbying for a police reform bill. There's so much happening so quickly. And Jason, that is why, for the first time ever, I transformed my account into a little blog of what's happening real time. Because I find that so many of us, we don't really we're on Instagram and we're not watching the news.
Right. Well, and I was just gonna. First of all, everyone watching. I see you in the comments. I'm gonna get to some questions in a few, but I'm glad you brought up your social media because I had just said that like your social media, especially your Instagram, has become one of a hub for me as far as great reporting on what's happening and up to the minute updates on things that are from all around the country. It's incredible, Francesca. It's incredible. I was talking to someone the other day. They're like, "Where can I go?" Because here's the thing. Yes, we're on social media. We should be watching news. People aren't really watching television anymore, but there's a lot. We're inundated with so much from so many different areas, so many different ways coming at you all at once. Alerts, pages, updates that you don't know where and what to dive into. Guys, please go to her Instagram right now because you have given us such a great comprehensive way to see what is happening. And also it's very topical and it's not just in Atlanta. You're pulling stories from DC.
Oh yeah.
Texas, California, Seattle. So thank you for that because it's been enlightening for me to watch. And also there's some passion there. When did you decide that you wanted to transform your social media to become a hub of not only news, but you're also educating people on history and on Blackness, Black excellence, really?
It's funny. Well, I watched that video 4 times, as I mentioned to you. And each time, the tears were different and the emotions were different and the anger levels were different. And then the call to action was different. And so I realized, you know what, I'm a Black journalist in the cradle of civil rights movement, which is Atlanta, Georgia, my hometown. And I said, well, damn, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing people being pushing the day-to-day happenings out there as much as they should. Maybe The Hill is doing it, Politico is doing it, and Twitter is like our mainstay when it comes to receiving news. But when it comes to digesting it on Instagram, which is where a lot of people my age are, there's nothing. And so I said, you know what? I started doing Fran's Flash Feed a couple of weeks before the death of George Floyd. And that was just my way to kind of do like a package of, hey, if you missed the newscast, this is just what you missed. And I would do it in my Instagram stories. And I got a lot of good feedback on that. And the aha moment was when I was talking to my sister who's 25, who has a couple of best friends who are also that age. And she was like, yeah, I saw it on your sister's page. And she said, that's the only way I get my news. And when she said that sentence, that's the only way I really get my news, I said, you know what? I'm going to catch you where you are. I have to catch you in that moment. So as soon as I started hearing about like the first, all right, George Floyd was killed and this is what's happening, I was immediately hooked when it was, all right, let's get them charged. Let's get them charged. And I said, well, how is everyone going to know if they're charged, if they're on, if they're not regularly watching those press conferences? I regularly watch it for fun. You know what I mean? I regularly watch the news for fun because that is my profession, is digesting broadcasts. So that was my goal. And then when I started to see all these Black Lives Matter protests popping up all over, not just the country, Jason, but the world, Switzerland, Germany, Australia, Kenya,
yeah,
London, and then of course right here, everywhere, I said, I have to push this out there. I guess it was my excitement to where this movement is really taking off. And then when you started seeing the businesses get involved and start creating policies and say, we won't even do business with you unless you don't have this certain percentage of minorities on your board. And, certain CEOs started making donations and celebrities getting involved. I was hooked. And so right now I do like maybe 30 posts a day. So I'm just trying to get people excited about the movement and not forget it, because our generation, Popeyes comes and
but and Francesca, you're so smart in that because it's authentic. There's a lot of people. A lot of things have been performative. Let's keep it real. A lot of the support for BLM and for what's going on has been performative because some people feel that if they're not standing in solidarity, if they're not supporting, then they are other, then they are the enemy. And I mean, that's a whole other conversation, but I look at your page and I look at your social media feed and I look at what you're putting on and how you curate it. And it's so good. And that's why I've always been a fan, but I was like, yo,
thank you.
This is what needs to happen. And I'm glad that someone that is in news, a woman of color is in news, is doing that. And when I celebrate that, I think it's so essential with everything that's happened. As you said, there is a lot of change that's happening very quickly.
Yeah.
And people are taking notice to behaviors that have taken place for a long time. You have been in news for over a decade. You are a 3-time Emmy winner, Vanderbilt University graduate. Your list of accolades are incredible. But with that said, in the newsroom, what have you seen prior to this that made you think, oh, wait, there needs to be some reform here, because I've talked to a lot of people from different newsrooms across the country, and the stories I hear, Francesca, are like, are you kidding me? There's still these microaggressions. There's still this nuanced racism.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'll share a little story with you. So I believe it was last weekend, literally, what was it? George Floyd was killed. Maybe a week later, we did that broadcast where all hell was breaking loose on that, like that Friday. And then the looters and the protesters, they started in all cities across the nation. So I came to work on that Saturday and Sunday. Mind you, when I say I came to work, I'm still at home doing it because of the coronavirus. And we received an email. I did the broadcast myself, and then it was two of the anchors were white women, okay? Just to set the stage for you. And a lot of our broadcasts was a lot of the looters did this, the looters did that, and there's trash and debris and there's fire, and oh my goodness, they lit Del Frisco on fire, and look at downtown Peachtree Road. And again, at the time, this is me looking back on it. But at the time, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's news. Like, take a look. Like, this is the looting. This is what happened. This is what they did. When in actuality, we weren't pinpointing the reason that it was done.
Right.
We weren't saying the word Ahmaud Arbery. We weren't saying Sandra Bland. We weren't saying Philando Castile. We were not saying Trayvon Martin. We weren't saying Jordan Davis. We weren't saying the reason why there was that much anger. If you're, for lack of a better sentence, if your white child was all of a sudden modern day lynched, you would set the world on fire.
Right.
Because what? Buildings have insurance. They can be replaced, but a life cannot. And so we missed the entire message. And that's me looking back on it, because again, after that newscast, we received a couple of emails from people saying, you all are tone deaf. And so since then, it was my job as a Black journalist to speak with my news director and say, hey, this is the direction I think we should go. Or, hey, this is, I don't know if this is going to be perceived in the best light. Because as soon as I posted that video of the reporter at the time, like talking about how death and destruction downtown, and when I say death, I'm talking about the building, not a person. When I posted that video, people were like, well, look at why she did it, why they did it. I said, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And so we missed the mark on that. And so just imagine, I'm in Atlanta, the Mecca. So just imagine these other small towns who didn't get that message, and who, I was watching even national news. No shade to my national newsers out there, but they missed the mark all week long last week.
Francesca, girl, LA. And look, so the first weekend, and not to cut you off, but I'm right there with you. And it was so infuriating because, one, here in LA, they had 0 people of color reporting in studio and at our protest, right? 1. 2, every break and the only coverage was from Chopper. And it was them zooming in different places saying, look at the looters, look at those knuckleheads, look at these people, look at these degenerates on air. Like, okay, 1, there's so much more going on. Yes, the looting is absolutely a component of what's happening. Got it. It is news. We can't deny that.
Correct.
But as you said, the tone and the foundation of why this is all happening also needs to be driven home just as much as you wanting to send a chopper from the Valley in LA downtown to catch looting, when you could also send that same chopper, which has the technology to zoom in like a 50-mile radius and catch a peaceful protest. And the amount of tone deaf activity and reporting of this has been mind-blowing. And what signals is also that ratings, it's all about money, it's all about ratings, and that the foundation of journalism in some markets is still salacious, and it's not about good-natured reporting. It's about what's going to get eyeballs on us right now in this movement, this phenomenon that can get us the most views, so we can say we owned that experience.
You're absolutely right. It's all about sensationalism. And so that's where I bring in and challenge the Black journalists out there. You know what I was doing last week? I was on furlough. You know why? Because of the pandemic. My job, everyone got to take a week where they don't get paid. You know what I did? I didn't sit on my butt. I didn't just sit there and mourn George Floyd. That's when I had my aha moment and said, as a Black journalist, I control the narrative of Black stories. So as uncomfortable as it's going to be, I have to put out the reason why. There are several videos that I'm sitting on right now because I don't want to offend people. So there are certain videos out there, I'm still being a gatekeeper as a broadcaster on my page, but there are certain videos that we have to continue to put out there, Jason. We can't let people forget the reason. Yes, every now and then I will post the Cupid shuffle with a bunch of law enforcement because, they're not all bad. Just like all journalists aren't bad, just like all teachers aren't bad, just like all Catholic priests aren't bad. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going? However, let's put at the forefront, let's not try to put icing over, I can't use that.
Icing,
No, say it again.
icing over dirt. You know?
You had a better word than me. Because I was thinking, don't try to put icing over this when we know good and darn well you know the reason for this. So Black journalists, we have a duty. We're more than ever. So for every Black journalist that's not doing something with their platform and not using their voice, again, I am challenging you as Black journalists out there. But for everyone who's not, I'm intentionally putting forward more and more articles out there in hopes that they're shared. Because for every post or story that gets shared, you may be opening someone's eyes. You know, all my followers are not people of color. All my followers are not white. So we have to continue to challenge and put our own stories out there and show this is the reason why. Because we get so desensitized, you know, viewers so desensitized because they're like, oh, okay, man was killed. But you got to show them the body cam video as a journalist. You know, you have to show them the internals of it. You have to show them the raw video that a Good Samaritan caught and say, warning, language, but you're going to see this because this is what people endure every day.
I love that analogy, and I'll liken it to, I went to the 9/11 memorial in New York City, and you know, 9/11, of course, in our time, and what's happening now, and 9/11 have been two of the most, I would say, just jaw-dropping, painful, and just I can't believe this is happening experiences in my lifetime, in this generation. Every generation has them, right? And the 9/11 memorial tells you the good, the bad, the ugly about 9/11. It leaves no stone unturned. And you have to have that. It's very uncomfortable. There's a lot of, it's very visceral, very uncomfortable. But in order to really get it, in order to really be like, okay, I know the story, and allow it to change you in any, whatever way it's going to change you, any capacity, you have to go through it and get uncomfortable and see it for every single facet, every single layer it has, in order for you to be like, this is why this is important. This is why this matters. This is why that happened. And I think when people, you know, there's a conversation about people posting on their social media and losing followers that just enraged me. Because people are like afraid of having these conversations, or even just posting something that could be a little not controversial, but just, I don't know, provocative, right? Or evocative in a sense, because they don't want to lose followers. But social media, that's why we need to have these conversations. If we can't do it in a space where we have 50,000 followers in our pocket, which 10,000 of those are available at any time, then why are we here?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And as journalists, as just people in general, as a human, we all are trying to find our voice.
Yeah.
We all are trying to figure out our lane. And just post a black square does not mean that you are taking a stand. Okay? I'll put that out there right now. And guess what? I'm not about to shame you for not posting anything. But if you can get your buns out there and protest in the streets, then great. If you can get your behind on the computer and you donate to an African-American, some type of foundation that is helping people of color or minority businesses or what have you, if you can take your behind on Uber Eats and order from a Black-owned business, as long as you are doing your part. In fact, there's a quote that I wanted to read you that I saw on my friend Imani's page the other day. I love this one. It says, do not feel guilty for not occupying every lane. We need all of them. Mm-hmm. What that means is not everyone is going to be an influencer. There are the storytellers like you and I. There are the visionaries. There are people who are taking action. There are people who are creating vote.org sites and helping people understand and consume information and understand how they can make a difference. There are the disruptors, those people who are looting. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say this. I don't take anything back. Those looters, those people who caused havoc in the streets were necessary for this movement.
Yes.
Necessary for this movement, because how in the world else was the movement going to get your attention? Because you saw what happened 3 years and 9 months ago on the field in the NFL when one person, Colin Kaepernick, and he tried to get your attention, but you said that's not the right way. Right. And it was. There was another time in 2014 when Kobe Bryant attempted to do what? He wore an I Can't Breathe shirt while working out and getting ready for a game, and they said, not the right way. So what other way are we going to get your attention? And by we, I don't just mean Black people or people of color. I'm talking about people who see that minorities are constantly disenfranchised in this country and around the world. How else? So disruptors are necessary. Everyone plays a part.
Right.
As long as you know and identify that silence, and one of my other favorite quotes in this, Jason, has been silence is being complicit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a friend who's like, I don't know why Amazon.com has that banner up there, you say something. You shake it up a bit. What do you mean why? You know, all lives matter. All lives do matter. But all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. Then and only then can we say every single life matters.
It's fair. It's, you know, people complicit. I think some people are complicit. Okay, look, I will say that there has been people of color that I have worked with that are complicit in certain things because out of fear, because we have been told that by you saying something, especially, look, let's get deep with it. Entertainment, right? One of the This industry works like no other, right? And you know, there's gatekeepers that are not people of color. There are people who check a box, and once you've been chosen to check that box, you are placed in a space that only you can occupy with said guidelines. If you move outside of those parameters and you don't occupy in said guidelines, you become an enemy. You become antithetical to what we want you to be. And so when people don't say anything, especially in workplaces, it's out of fear, because it's like, listen, they're only allowing one in. There's 9 waiting in the wings. I have been told I should be grateful that I have this opportunity, because you of course you always come from a place of love and of graciousness. So when you see something, sometimes you know it sits, and nothing that's super egregious, but I'm saying like microaggressions, right? Let's just dumb it down. And you know you want to say something, but you're just like, I don't want to rock the boat, because like then who's gonna have my back? Because obviously these people don't have my back, and I have to eat, I have to live, I have to provide for myself. Like there's all these things that work against you, that it's unfair. And then look, and that's just a culture thing, you know, cultural thing. So I do agree with the complicit nature about people staying silent. I had this conversation with the girl. She's like, I would love to speak up, but I feel like it's never my place. And that's what bothers me too. It's like, why is my seat at the table in a different room on the floor eating out of a doggy dish? Why can I come to the table with the nice china and the nice silverware and the you know, it's that sort of thing. So back to the looters and disruptors. Someone had asked me about Black Lives Matter. This was a couple weeks ago, and she's like, well, this seems, in a conversation with someone who I was trying to educate on why this is important. And she said, Black people seem so angry and so upset all the time. And I thought, okay, this is an opportunity for me to tell you why. And I think the reason why people like Cap and Kobe and people tried to do it peacefully before, and now we have this I would say super mobilized, very active way of protesting, is because we tried being nice. And being nice didn't work. Sorry. You know, like when my mom says, always be cool, always keep someone nice, because when they go bad, they go bad. And this is what that is. We've been nice for hundreds of years. We've been nice in places that we should have been more disruptive, but because of we didn't want to be the stereotypical whatever that they placed on us. And now that time is over. It's over. And look, I don't know. There's so many. It's such a nuanced conversation that it's hard to get to all of it. But the underlying feeling, at least for me, is that now is the time we're rising up. And either you're rising up with us or you're not. There's no shade of gray. It's very black and it's very white. Boom. That's all. I mean, what else can you say?
I completely agree with you, Jason. At this point, we continue to use the word unprecedented in the news when it comes to unprecedented. Meaning anything goes. We've never been here before. These are waters that we've never tread. So it's okay to be calm, be silent in that moment and go, where do I fit in all this? What is my voice? Where is my voice? How can I utilize my voice? Is my voice necessary? And the answer is, no matter who you are, your voice is absolutely necessary. It's all about commanding that respect and creating that realm for yourself. I understand exactly what you're saying when it comes to the entertainment industry. It's like, oh, well, look, if you don't act right and stand in line, there's a bunch of other ones who want you.
They will tell you that.
They will tell you that. However, for myself, I've always prided myself on being outspoken when the time is appropriate. And there is no better time than now. And it's not like I am saying, you know, to hell with anybody else or any other race. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm doing is putting out information out there that would otherwise be lost in the sauce because so much is going on when it comes to America right now. We are battling two pandemics, racism and COVID-19. And people are turning a blind eye to racism because, oh my goodness, why are those protesters out there? We still have COVID-19,
Yeah.
which is true. It's very important. However, when you've had enough and you're willing to get out there and fight for equality, that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing this uprising, and people are going to start to pick sides, and we've seen it already. But it's okay to be vocal. Stand proud in your voice. Understand that this is your time to find out who you want to be, who you are becoming, and those all away on the wayside, they are not meant to be there anyway. Now, I understand the importance of job security. I get that, which is why I'm the way I am with my reporting. I've been very unbiased with my okay. But you see my stance. You see everything that I'm pushing. I'm pushing a narrative, absolutely. And bias. They're like, don't be biased. The sentence is, my life matters. I am a Black woman. Black lives matter to me. That's not a political stance. That's not a bias. That is fact.
Fact.
My life.
I mean, and see, and therein lies what people want to weaponize is when you say, because there's also been conversations of people like, well, I don't want to be too active and have to take such a stance because it may come back to haunt me later. I may not get a job, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, if someone is looking to hire you, right? Let's just talk about it from a career standpoint, and they're upset that you spoke out about something of this magnitude, then you do not need to work for that entity. And that says a lot about them, because anyone that is present in what's happening and gets it will be like, I completely understand why you spoke out about that. I mean, as a matter of fact, I share those same ideals and those same principles. And so, yes. And it would be like, okay, well, great. Well, are you talented? Can you do the job? Like, they would not hang their hat on you being active in something like this. I keep telling people that, but you know, again, that's one of those things that's just a byproduct of all the shit that we've been dealing with that we need to eradicate as well, for real.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because I want everyone who's listening right now to make sure that they are looking at the social media accounts and also the company accounts of every that they ever look up to, every person that they want to work for, because by golly, I've been doing it. I follow a few of the entertainment people, producers and what have you, all throughout social media. And I am just so proud.
Yeah.
I've never worked for them in my life. I am just so proud at what I'm seeing on their stories, what they're posting, and they do not look like me. Let's just say that. I am very proud of that.
It's so, again, it goes back to like when I asked you like, how are you feeling, and just having, it seems like there's this blanket of support that's been laid down from people. You're like, okay, you like, I received that, you know, that you never would have thought. And it restores your faith in that there are people that are good and that are, they may not be the loudest voices, because here's the thing too, the shitty people are the loudest. That chatter is always the loudest, right? But the kind people are the ones that are like, I'm good. It's like confidence. You don't got to walk into a room and be like, yo, I'm here. It's like, hey guys, how you doing? You know what I mean? It's that. It's very like, I got you.
Mm-hmm. And when you open your mouth, they command that specific respect.
Right. And so,
again, you're so important, is beyond important for us. And when I say us, I mean everybody, to be up on policies, reforms, the talk about defunding police. I want you up on all of it. You don't need to necessarily take a stand, but at this point, there are so many moving pieces that are moving at the exact same time. As I mentioned to you last week, the same time George Floyd was being celebrated in the streets of Minneapolis, Ahmaud Arbery's alleged killers were also being arraigned at a probable hearing. At that same time, what do we see? We saw senators on the floor fighting for an anti-lynching bill. Today, what do we see at this? I think it was yesterday. The White House was holding a briefing at the same time of George Floyd's North Carolina memorial service. There's a lot of things happening at the same time. I don't know why it's literally happening at the same time, but be woke and be aware of that, because we don't need to be duped, Jason. We don't need to, when all of a sudden an executive order comes down the pipe and we're like, where did this come from? We don't need to be shocked. God forbid one of the alleged killers in one of these prominent cases walks or receives an acquittal. We can't be shocked. We have to remain on it keep the feet to the fire. And that's what I challenge all of us to understand.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think people are, it's effort. They're wanting to as well. They're putting in the effort. There is a really an authentic need now more than ever for people to be woke. And I hate to use the word woke because people weaponize woke, but I think people.
Knowledgeable, like woke.
No, I'm saying, be like, but here I have some friends who are like, "Oh, you woke? Like, shut up! You go back to bed." But Francesca, let's talk about you because I can't have you here and not celebrate you. I have. So this morning I was having my coffee and I was watching all my Francesca YouTube videos and just your girl. Yes, it was my morning ritual this morning. You're my morning ritual, and just the way you have your career. It's inspirational how Vanderbilt grad, you talented, started in this business, thought it was going to be easy, had to go through some things, move to Michigan, come to Atlanta, carve out your own lane in Atlanta, which is not easy, win 3 Emmys, and now be who you are. Let's talk about that because even for myself and the success I've had, hearing your story restored my faith in trusting the process. Really.
You have to know that what's coming for you is already yours. And you have to know that as long as you step into your identity and you trust God and you truly say, you know what, all my friends are rising up right now or everything around me is falling apart. But Lord, I know that at the end of the day, you got me because you know my heart, you know what I want to do in this world, and you know what type of force I want to be. So when I think of that, I smile because I know that I may not be where I want to be right now yet, but I know that it's coming because I'm relying on him. I'm relying on God. And as you mentioned, for myself, I graduated from Vanderbilt University. I had 12 different internships. And it's a story that I tell all the time. I had 12 different internships in Nashville, Tennessee, all the way to Time Warner Cable in Los Angeles or San Diego, all the way to CBS Newspath in New York. I mean, I've interned everywhere, all across the nation. And when I graduated as a top 10 senior, might I add, I thought that, shoot, I was going to have a job. Yeah, like, that's how it's done, easy. Man, I graduated, walked across that stage so depressed. I had no job offers, no nothing. I had been emailing news directors, nothing. Mind you, I graduated from Vanderbilt with a communications degree, corporate strategy, German, and sociology degree, and no job offers. So I spent my first 13 months after I graduated school jobless, if you will. Like I literally was sending out 300 to 400 emails to news directors in small markets all around the nation. No one was giving me anything. And that's why it's for us to make sure that we have generational wealth in there because my father stepped in. He owns cemeteries in Atlanta and he allowed me to work for him. So literally 6 months into me being unemployed, I started selling mausoleums and cemetery plots. I was at the cemetery just, but I had to make my living and I gained my money from my commission. And then I flew to New York to just kind of test it out and try to figure out, I'm just walking the streets, passing out my resume and whatnot. That didn't work out either. But 13 months after graduation, I got my first gig, Lansing, Michigan. Thank you, Jam Sarter. He was a news director at the time, gave me my start. I was a morning reporter, and I loved it and I sought that out, a morning position, because I could do both worlds. You know how it is.
Yeah.
News, entertainment news. One day I'm at a car crash. One day I'm at a house fire. Then all of a sudden I'm doing basketball, or dribbling with a Golden Globetrotter, or I'm in a hot air balloon. So it was great because I was coming into my own as a broadcast journalist and I could understand where my heartbeat was and where my passion was. But it was important for me to also hone those hard news skills. And that's when I went from, after being there for a year, Jacksonville, Florida. And that was the Harvard of my career, as I call it, because for 3 years, I'm not going to say I went through complete hell because I completely enjoyed everyone I met there. But mentally, it was the most anguishing situation because I was specifically hard news. And so I was reporting on investigations where people were literally losing their lives because their homes were on landfill. That was one of my big stories where a community was just falling apart because it was built on a landfill. But then, I was reporting on all these homicides. Jacksonville, Florida is literally the mecca of homicides in Florida. So every night I was at a different vigil. But again, I got to hone those chops. Even though I spent many nights with grieving mothers and fathers, I honed the chops of storytelling. And then I said, agent, let me tell you something. If I'm going to stay in news, I got to smile 60% of the time.
Yeah.
I can't be in that bathroom at my news station crying like I've been doing for 3 years.
Yeah.
I can't anymore. And I said, God, if you want me to stay in news, please create a position that I'm worthy, that I feel valued, that I can truly bring my own self to. And lo and behold, in Atlanta, my hometown, they were looking to jazz up the morning show. And they were looking to add some entertainment stories every now and then. That's how it was pitched to me. Every now and then we want to do something. And so I pitched to them, okay, well, do you need an entertainment reporter? And they were like, sure, let's have you come in, once a week you'll do entertainment stories in Atlanta. And that's when I said, no, this is my opportunity to show. This is not only my hometown, but this is a passion. And you know what? People are doing it nationwide. And I literally had, here in Atlanta, have the power to interview anybody because we are literally NBC Atlanta. We don't have national shows here anymore. After, Sister Circle, we did have that, but not anymore. So now I literally have the entertainment world at my fingertips. So when Tyler Perry's having a situation or having a new project, who do they call? They call on local news. They dial up us. It's an amazing opportunity. So I was able to, I think it was my first month in September. I got here in late August 2017, and in September I was interviewing Oprah and Tyler Perry within a week. And I said, this is amazing. But
no.
Jason, I think God just sprinkled that in so he could say, you know what, you have an opportunity here. Get excited and go with it.
I love that. See, stories like that are just like, because here's the thing. People think that, when they see you, they see the end result. Also, hi guys in the comments. I'll get to you guys in just a second. Everyone's talking. I see you. Hey, Ronnie Jr. Ronnie, what's up? J-Dub, hi. People think that you just woke up, Minority Tea Report, hi, that you just woke up and you became Francesca Amiker and you are who you are and you didn't have this journey and you didn't have struggles and trials and tribulations and setbacks and a lot of disappointment. There's like the disappointment and the amount of times you're let down in this industry, be it hard news, television, entertainment, any facet of what we do as a creative, it's more than you'll ever be non-disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. So to see that Lansing, Michigan isn't the biggest city. Moving to Jacksonville, Florida, which is a larger market, but having to really get in the trenches to cut your teeth to do what you want. That's how that happens. And the younger generation doesn't get that, I don't think. They see because social media creates stars overnight. You can be plucked from obscurity and become a celebrity and be placed into jobs that you're not really qualified for. There's so many people on TV, I'm like, how?
Right.
And talented. It's just you come from a space of training, going to school, honing your crafts, making. And that's not the reality anymore. Now you can become. There's people that are on TV that have never ever that don't even know how to read a teleprompter. I know. And they're making a lot of money, but good for them. That was their path. What I'm saying for you is that your story is like, yeah, we could see why you're successful. We can see why you have 3 Emmys. We can see why Atlanta celebrates you. We can see why a lot of people across the country celebrate you. When I told them you were going to be on my show, people were like, I love her.
Oh my goodness. You have no idea how much that means to me because, some people they'll ask me, hey, do you ever get annoyed by people saying it, hey, in Atlanta,
yeah.
Hey, I know, can I take a photo with you? I'm like, do I ever get annoyed? Do you realize this is a blessing? This is everything I prayed for. And the reason why is because there was a time when 22-year-old or 23-year-old Francesca literally was begging for jobs via email to 300 or 400 news directors across the country, begging for an opportunity. God humbled me. He said, you know what? Yeah, you've had all these great accolades throughout high school and college, but I need to humble you so that you can appreciate every single opportunity that I throw your way from here on out. Right. I thank God I was unemployed for 13 months, depressed. Right. I thank God for that testimony because I strongly believe you're either entering a storm, going through a storm, or coming out of a storm.
Right.
And it's important for you to go through these storms and relish in the moment and understand those moments. Because when that rainbow hits, all of a sudden things clear up. Yeah. And you say, wow, I needed that rain. Because without rain, there is no sunshine. Without rain, there is no rainbow, the pot of gold. Like, you need those trials and tribulations. And so for Atlanta, I want everyone to just create your own passion project. Don't allow and wait for people to say yes to you.
Right.
Create your own darn yes. Say yes to yourself. And my biggest regret, if you will, even though I don't have, regrets, if you will, but my biggest regret is not just doing it. Just jump out there and do it. Why did I not use social media when I was 19, 20, 21 as a show? You know what I mean? Why didn't I get on and just video myself and come up with my own news reports? I don't need NBC or Fox or CNN or CBS or ABC to tell you stories and to captivate the audience. You don't need anyone. You just need people who truly believe in your passion and go forth and do it.
Just do it and believe in yourself. I mean, look, what we're doing now was me being tired of being told no, being tired of not getting in the room, being tired of not getting the opportunity. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to create my own opportunity.
Yes.
And look, and here we are. So I was watching your interview with NBA legend Dominique Wilkins, and just what you said about you were humbled and how you had to go through that to get to the other side to have perspective, right? It's perspective. I think that we want to hurry up and go through that time that's so dark and so bleak, because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good because it's out of your comfort zone. But like, what's the adage that, you're only going to grow outside of your comfort zone. And to be able to see someone like yourself, as I said, who is successful and great to watch and fun and energetic and good at her job, to hear your testimony, I hope that people that are watching now below can take that and implement that and hold on to that in their journey forward. Because I know there's times where, hey, I need to hear that myself, Francesca. There's days where I'm like, I need a Francesca morsel. Like, sprinkle me, boo, sprinkle me,
But here's the thing. Realize that you're going to continue to go through testimonies. I think people see, like, me and my little wig, and they see, my little makeup on my face, and they see this smile, and they think that I'm not going through anything. Well, believe it or not, everyone is
right.
Everybody has certain issues, but you know what the difference is that I'm not going to continue to cry about it or get upset about it. I'm going to do the best I can in that moment.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I'm going to smile through it, because you truly never know what someone else is going through. Like, and I know that sounds so cliche, but problems of, for instance, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'm going to indirectly say what I'm going to say, but you guys can read through the lines here. I've been in Atlanta for 3 years. And in the industry, what does that mean, Jason? When you've been there for a certain amount of time, all of a sudden there comes a point where, all right, now it's time for, all right, will you stay or will you go, right?
Right. Your contract comes up, and people, if you've been in a market like Atlanta, then you springboard to a New York, you springboard to a bigger market.
But guess what? We are in an unprecedented time right now, and everyone's world has been thrown upside down. Do you think I'm going to sit here and go, shoulda, woulda, coulda, I don't know what's, woe is me? Absolutely not. Because do you think people may have lost their loved one during this pandemic because of COVID-19, or just lost their loved one and they weren't able to go to or even have a funeral? Do you know how many people lost their jobs, didn't know where their next piece of food was going to come from, got rejected from the SNAP program, the food stamp program, they got rejected from this, that, and the third. Everyone is fighting a hard fight. And how dare you, someone who can, if you can smile and you can breathe, then it's not so bad. If you were able to wake up, that means you have another chance.
Right.
That means there's another opportunity for you to make it right. So many didn't get that opportunity. They didn't get a chance to wake up. If you can even think, if you even have the opportunity to be able to have the thought, you know what, my life could look like this one day, then you are better off than so many people in this world. Because so many people are already trapped. They go, you know what, this is it for me. I'm not getting higher here. But you and I, we have that ability to think progressively. And that itself is enough.
Right.
And,
Yeah. But again, perspective. James Irvin, hey buddy, just want to say what's up to everyone. People are like, Jason, you never see who's commenting. I know, because I'm paying attention to who I'm talking to. Hello. An active listener, rude. Real quick, because I know you got to go. What's next? You have the A scene, you have Morning Rush. You've carved out this lane in Atlanta. I could see a Francesca Amiker talk show. I could see you being on the Today Show. I could see you contributing for CNN. I mean, the sky's the limit. What's
That's
next?
much from your mouth to God's ears. I'm really excited because during this pandemic, I got a lot of time to think about how I can use my platform and who I can become, and how I'm becoming a woman.
Yeah.
Like, what's next for me? And for me, it's as long as I'm valued where I am, and as long as I continue to be able to captivate my audience, and connect with people and put out those amazing stories and wiggle into ways, and show people things that they've never seen before. The reason why I created the A scene, or the Atlanta scene, was because people didn't realize that, shoot, Tyler Perry Studios is right here in our backyard.
Yeah.
My studios is right there in our backyard. People weren't realizing how lit Atlanta was. So I want to continue passion projects at this time. When I got to the station and we created the A scene, that segment, there was hopes, and there's still hopes of it becoming a 30-minute entertainment show here in Atlanta. Think Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood or E! News, but like the Atlanta version of it. I wanted to, yeah. So I'm still in a position to think about that. I'm also just kind of thinking about, podcasts and just other realms that I can dabble in. But you know what? I think my biggest thing that's messed me up is fear. What if it doesn't work out? And
Right.
we get in our heads so much. I think about it all the time. Maybe I could try that. And it's like, no, I don't know. That may not work out. No, to hell with that idea. Everyone else is trying it, and look at where they're getting, and you're talented too. Why don't you do it? So I think I have to, that's next for me. Maybe dabbling in a passion project. But I will say this, and I'll say this last point. Last week, and I haven't shared this at all, and I probably won't share it for the next couple of weeks on social
Exclusive.
media. So the Emmy nominations came out around the time we heard about the unfortunate passing of George Floyd. And I'm so blessed to have received 3 more nominations. So the morning show received a nomination, my commercial received a nomination, and myself as a solo host received a nomination. Awesome. So I'm thrilled. But it just, there's a time and place to put that information out there. And right now I have a message to get out what's going on with the Black movement. Yeah. And that's where I am on social media right now. That's my focus. But Jason, passion projects. We gonna see about it. Be thinking about, be expecting something soon.
I love it. Well, congratulations on 3 more Emmy nominations. And I mean, it's been so awesome talking to you, Francesca. Again, I've been a fan for a long time, and I've been following you. And then when the way you pivoted so masterfully, and really just started putting out content that was purposeful, that was meaningful, that was needed. I mean, I can't thank you enough. I know a lot of people down below can't thank you enough. And I thank you so much for your time today. You are incredible. Guys, please go to her Instagram right now. It's at Fran TV Host. Yes?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you so much. And I'm about to get to it. I've already missed about an hour of, I'll be uploading every 10 minutes.
I'm taking up your time. You're a busy lady, but all the best, Fran. All the best, girl. And look, let's connect again. And thank you so much for being here. And you stay safe, boo. Stay safe.
Opportunity. Thank you for having me on this show, and congratulations with all the success that you have endured and created, and the amazing moves that you're making, sir. I commend you, and I salute you, King.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon, Queen. Bye.
Bye.